Hi everyone and welcome to week 8. I'm Jade and I'll be discussing how human and wildlife interactions can become problematic. I'll be mentioning the different perspectives of key stakeholders and the key factors to be managed. I will address these concepts by using the example of human and tiger conflicts in Bardia, a rural region of Nepal. Human-wildlife conflict typically occurs when two species are forced to live in close proximity of each other, often sharing a common resource. This can include land, prey, and livestock. The conflicts between human and the Bengal tiger in Bardia are extremely serious, as it involves both livestock loss and even human casualties. Bardia is situated in western Nepal and has historically been isolated. However, over the last few decades, it has become increasingly populated by humans whose lifestyle depends on surrounding forest resources of timber for agriculture, herbs for food and medicine. This is me crossing the Kani River with a broken wrist. Many people residing in Bardia are deprived of basic healthcare and sanitation. There are many deaths each year from preventable causes such as diarrhea and cholera. Many households reside next to the Bardia National Park and buffer zones where the interactions with tigers are most prevalent. Human-wildlife conflict is a serious issue in Bardia. As annual tourism increases, development is reaching previously untouched regions. Therefore, villagers are coming into more contact with potentially dangerous animals such as tigers. Livestock lost by tigers drastically impacts upon the locals' livelihood and way of life. In Bardia, the most critical components to be managed in order to reduce these interactions is landscape modification and habitat fragmentation. These are the main reasons behind global species extinction. It results in habitat loss and degradation, isolation, alterations in biology, behaviour, and interactions. These human-perceived landscape patterns often increase interactions with wildlife by altering the structure of the native vegetation, creating disturbances between barrier edges, altering landscape connectivity, and decreasing the diversity. These components can cause usual forest-dwelling wildlife to emerge to seek additional resources. Tigers were originally distributed across all lowland forests of Nepal. However, after the eradication of malaria in the 1950s, massive migration of hill people in the Terra moved in, contributing to the early landscape modification and habitat fragmentation. This began to isolate the tiger population into smaller habitat patches. This development has heavily impacted upon the Royal Bengal tiger and is now critically endangered. It serves as a vital keystone species and maintains the ecological balance through a predator-prey relationship. As habitat fragmentation impacts upon their food source, it increases their interactions with livestock, resulting in farmer retaliation kills. Another issue with large predatory animals is that landscape modification and habitat fragmentation forces them to leave the protected national park to hunt other forms of prey, which usually means livestock. These edges along the buffer zone end up being ecological sinkholes for the wildlife due to retaliation killings. The Royal Bengal tiger has a wide distribution, with the size of the habitat depending on the prey density. Therefore, it is easy to see that in the face of habitat degradation, tigers seek prey on the edges of the reserve where most interactions occur. Tiger density depends on the quality of the habitat and its supported prey. Conflicting values about forest management create complexity and challenges for decision makers. One of the most complex issues in forest management is incorporating the different perspectives of stakeholders. Understanding these different perspectives can assist with adequate forestry management. Catering to all stakeholders in human-wildlife conflict is particularly difficult when the animal is endangered. The three main stakeholders involved in this case study are local villagers, conservationists, and government agencies. All three stakeholders possess different attitudes and reasoning based on their own experiences with the conflict and individual value. The attacks on livestock dramatically impact upon local villagers' livelihood. Furthermore, because they rely on resources from within the national park, they encounter them more frequently. This increases the chance of a human attack. Between 1979 and 2006, tigers killed 88 people and 3,000 livestock. A survey conducted in 2009 of 271 local villages showed that 63% liked tigers and only 37% of villagers wanted them eradicated. Of that 37%, 57% claimed they disliked tigers as they had killed someone they knew, and the rest had stated it was due to their attacks on livestock. However, the survey has shown that the majority of villagers still like tigers. When asked why, 38.4% said because they bring in revenue through ecotourism, 26.2% because of their ecological value, 21.5% because they are endangered, 11.6% because they are beautiful, and 2.3% associated with Hindu values. Conservation agencies such as Global Tiger Initiative, Convention of International Trade, as well as acts such as the National Parks and Wildlife Conservation Nepal and volunteers strongly believe in the protection of the tiger at all costs. They aim to protect it from habitat destruction, hunters, illegal wildlife traders, and the local villagers. However, the issues encountered by the local villagers must also be taken into account, as human lives are also of critical importance in addressing the human-wildlife conflict. Therefore, conservation groups and Bardia authorities have developed a program offering compensation to those impacted by the conflict. The national park also brings in tourists, which increase the economy of the resource-deprived zone. For Bardia authorities and associated government agencies, this is of critical priority. The nature park increases employment through such roles as nature guides and increases the development of infrastructure, roads and bridges for tourists. Hopefully my presentation has helped increase your understanding of the complexities associated with human-wildlife conflict. I hope it correctly conveys the severe impact landscape modification and habitat fragmentation can have on biodiversity and the complexities associated with multiple stakeholders. I'm looking forward to hearing your responses.